Hey, Marcy.
Hey, Peggy.
What are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about friendship loss.
Ooh, friendship loss. That sounds awesome.
Right.
Wow. I'm excited for it.
Yes, I think that our country is lonelier than it used to be, and partly to blame, I think, is social media. It's like so easy to distract yourself with a device and not get together in person because you're able to, like, work from home or just sit and scroll. And I think friendship is so important to health.
Yeah. And, we'll spend thousands of dollars on supplements, gym memberships, and organic groceries trying to live longer. But the single best thing you can do for your health and longevity is actually to have friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes me feel really good, actually.
I know. Not having close friends is literally, the statistics say, is as dangerous as smoking.
Wow.
So let that sink in. Loneliness will kill you faster than being overweight.
Wow. Wow.
And half of us are sitting at home right now thinking we're the only ones who feel this way, when the woman next door is also lonely too. And
Mm.
so we're sitting here thinking, well, we're the only ones.
Yes.
But literally, all of us are feeling disconnected. And
Right.
why is that? I think you're right. It's social media. It's we're more isolated. We don't have to leave our homes. We can get our groceries delivered.
True.
We can get our food delivered. We
True.
can anything we want to watch on TV. I don't have to go to a movie theater.
Yes.
Even when it's hitting the movies, it's hitting my TV in many cases.
Right.
I can never leave my home
Right.
and see another human being
Yeah.
and be perfectly fine in theory, and yet the loneliness is literally killing me.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah. It's not a safe thing.
We're not
It's
meant to do this. This is
no.
not what we were built to do. We are built for connection, particularly women.
Yes. Yes. And human beings are the only species that get that hit of dopamine when helping each other. So I do think that connection in the community is so powerful.
Yeah. I mean, think about just ancient times, caveman times. The men were out hunting, but the women were together cooking and getting things ready for when they came
Yeah.
back, right? It took what do we say? It takes a village to
Yes.
raise the child. Like,
Uh,
we are meant to be in that community with one
Right.
another. Biblically, if you look at biblical times, I mean, these women were coming together and they were getting the water and they were baking the bread and they were making the clothes. And, it is literally this biological need we have that
Yeah.
we are being denied right now. We are
Right.
suffocating out of ourselves with all of
100%.
this other social media and
Yeah.
tech and,
Yes.
fast lifestyle.
Right. And I think a lot of people think we're more connected with tech. Like, I will say my children are friends with their second cousins in California, and they chit chat so much more than I did with my cousins in California because they can Snapchat, they can text, they can voice message, they can do all these different things. But yet in your own backyard with your own neighbors, like people in your town or people at your church, whatever, are you as close?
Yeah. I mean, I think we create these false relationships that are
Mm.
built online. And it's not that they aren't real. I mean, I've made some friends online that
Sure.
I've not met in person, and I love them. But let me tell you, if something goes wrong at my house,
Yes.
Polly over in England isn't showing up for me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, right. Polly would be right there, Peggy.
I mean, I don't think she'd make it in time. Is all I'm saying. There's just some physical barriers. And so there's a lot to be said
Yes.
with the human
Right.
eyeball to eyeball. You're breathing the same air.
Yeah.
You're reading the body language. It's not
Yeah.
filtered. It's not corrected. It's not deleted and then
True.
re-recorded.
True. So we're actually going to do, like, this will be a two-part. So first we'll talk about the friendship loss today. Let's talk about that, how to bounce back, how to emotionally handle that in a healthy way. And then episode 2 later this week, we will talk about making the friends.
Yeah,
Making
it's so deep that you want to give each
their
their
own
time.
moment. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
Yeah, and I think I don't know, I do a lot of, and so do you, time with women, whether it's one-on-one or in community circles where we, just talk about our emotions and how we're
Yes.
feeling, and I think that's really important.
Yes.
And I don't know, I was listening to one podcast I think it was a podcast, and they were talking about this epidemic of loneliness that we
Mm.
are in right now,
Yeah.
particularly in our age group, that
Wow.
40 plus age group. And there are groups
Mhm.
literally that come together to talk. They just, that's the point. It's like Card Club, but it's Talk Club.
Oh, I love that.
And they just meet in each other's homes and have snacks and they talk.
That sounds amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
That's their whole point. It's
Chat
just
club.
to share their stories.
Lo-
They just share their stories with each other.
Wow. Is there like a theme of the month or anything?
No, not that I know of. I mean, I didn't look into it because I'm in a lot of groups where you could pretty much call them a chat club. They're just disguised in other things or
Yeah.
packaged as other things.
Yeah.
What they found, the reason these chat clubs started is that actually having that human connection and sharing your stories and
Yeah.
sharing your heart helps with brain health.
Wow.
It wards off Alzheimer's and all of those things. So it actually helps your memory.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Because if you aren't using those skills, those parts of your brain will die.
Sure. Yeah.
Over
Don't use
time.
it, you lose it for sure.
And so that's why these clubs came together,
Yes.
where these women would just sit and tell their stories and share their hearts.
How old were these ladies?
I think they range. They're definitely empty nesters at
Okay.
this point. But I think in those middle years, when you've got the kids and you're just running everywhere and you're so busy, you might have the woman at swim practice or the woman
Right.
at tennis, but you're so consumed with other things that it's just surface level. You're not getting to any depth. And I think you need to be really deliberate then also,
Right.
and maybe instead of getting together in the lobby at the hotel, well, the night before they're going to go play or whatever, and having drinks and talking about your kids, how about you sitting there and you say, we're not talking about the kids today.
Mm.
Tell me about you. What's going on in your
Yeah.
life? I really want to know what's happening with you.
Which I think can be hard for a lot of moms that make their kids their center.
Well, and maybe this will help you, Mom, Pam, to
Pam.
not do that.
Yes.
To not make your kid the center because you realize you get to be the center of your own life
True.
the
True.
whole time.
True. Okay. So what do we do when there is a friendship breakup?
Well, define breakup. What's happened? I mean, did they
We're going to
tell you they hate you? Did they send you a note in class? Like, what happened? How did it happen?
Okay.
Give me a scenario.
Let's say that you found out that they were gossiping about you.
You heard they're
Okay.
talking about you behind your back.
Yeah.
Who did that? Is that Susanna? Did she do that?
Yes. Let's make it. Let's go. Susanna.
I always knew it. I felt it in my gut all along. I'm not even surprised. So Susanna's off. And, we've been friends, but we're in a friend group. And now I find out from Pam, Susanna's been throwing me under the bus.
So Pam told you.
Told me. Okay. And
But
now
you should have always known because Susanna was talking smack about Pam and everybody else. And if someone's talking behind someone else's back and gossiping, just TikTok. It'll be your turn to be on the chopping block at some point.
don't be a Susanna.
Yes.
In Susanna's defense, I do sometimes think this is a way women actually try to bond with other women.
Okay, I could see that a little bit maybe.
Yeah, because if nothing there's that phrase, nothing bonds people together like a common enemy.
Is that like a Shakespeare thing?
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't
We'll look
know.
it up.
I'm so cultured.
We'll have it in the show notes. Just kidding.
Maybe. I don't even know. I just know I've heard that and it stuck with me and I'm not sure the origin point. It could be Shakespearean and I love that for us if it is because, wow,
We're
who knew we were going
awesome.
to pull that one out? But no. So I do think a lot of the time as women, sometimes we do get caught up in those gossipy moments.
Mhm.
And then we have a shame storm after because maybe we said something and we wish we wouldn't have said it. And we know Susanna or Pam or somebody's going to go share it.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're like, don't tell anybody I said that. I didn't mean to say that. And then, it gets even worse because now they're like, oh, it was juicy. It was juicier than I thought because now they're trying to autocorrect it. And it becomes this whole like spinny wheel. So sometimes we do find ourselves in those places and we might be the friend being broke up with because we are the Susanna and we're not the Peggy who was talked about, right? So, but in this case, I am the Peggy who was talked about by the Susanna and the Pam came in, and was Pam well-meaning? I don't know. Or was Pam creating division so Pam could be the hero? We're women and
It's complicated.
we have
Wow.
all of these dynamics, these power plays that are going
Sure.
on,
Sure.
And I think my first piece of advice is if you find yourself in the Susanna Pam triangle, right, where one's talking about you, Like Marcy said, you're probably not surprised Susanna was talking about you because Susanna was just talking about Pam.
Right.
B, I'd be questioning Pam's motives.
Ooh, interesting.
So let's not trade.
You wouldn't like break off the friendship with Susanna?
I think grace needs to be given. First of all, what was the context of it?
At first, I thought Grace was another character.
Oh,
And I
God.
was like, we are really getting.
It's too many to keep
I'm
track of.
following.
No, it's not Grace.
Okay.
Not Grace the person, Grace the
Action.
The action, yes. Yes and no. I don't know. I think it's the answer. I don't think there's a pat answer for any of this. I think looking at, well, what was the situation?
Mm-hmm.
Why did Susanna talk about me? Did Pam set her up?
Mm-hmm.
And then was Susanna drinking? Did Susanna get caught up in a moment? Is that typical Susanna behavior? Now, if Susanna's talking about everybody else in the friend group,
right,
and I was silly enough to think I was going to be the exception to that rule,
yes,
now that's on me, right?
Very true.
Right? There's ownership I need to take there.
I also feel like it's sometimes when something like this happens, you don't always have to like chop it off. It can be like, okay, I thought you were like a silver gold friend and you might be more like a bronze friend. And especially if it's like, let's say you all work together, for example, and you still want to work there. You like it, you like the health benefits.
You have
other
fun.
people are cool. Yeah. Then I think you need to just like keep the peace, but maybe keep a little arm's length. Like that might not be the person you're going to go have financial conversations with or deep heartfelt conversation. It might just be more lighthearted level friendship. You might be up here, not down here.
And start being onto when you're being baited to maybe overshare. Then that's used against with you and shared in the group because that will happen. And so just filter yourself. Just stay a little bit more guarded. That doesn't mean it's inauthentic.
Yes.
It just means this isn't my ride or die. This I thought maybe they might be. And when somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
Right. And also like kind of staying on that theme of like friendship breakups. If someone breaks up with you in a friendship, and maybe it's not formal, maybe it's subtle or whatever, it's probably not even about you.
Half the time it's not about you.
It's probably about what they're going through in their marriage, with their children, with their career, with their life. Like, quit making everything about you because it probably has everything to do with something else.
And here's the deal. Even if it was about you, what difference does it make? They're not your friend anymore.
That's right.
So don't sit there and spiral. If they're not your friend anymore because you did something that caused them to break up with you.
Or you said something or
you showed up authentically and spoiler alert, they didn't like it. Okay. That is a filter. And now they've been filtered out and it's created space for somebody new. Stop the shame spiral because the reality is going to be this isn't your friend anymore.
That's right.
Anyway.
I also like this thought of like, you're right, that like choosing a whole new thought about the whole situation. Like you just said, that just opened up space for a new friend. That's a great thought. Another thought that I like to think on like a God spiritual level is like, maybe I was just meant to like be in their life for this little sliver because it was going to teach them something that they needed 2 years down the road. I was just here to plant this little seed, but now I'm going to go this way and they're going to go this way. And both ways are beautiful and okay. We just weren't meant to like be this deep connection forever.
And that's a really good point because I think one of the most important parts of a friendship breakup, regardless of who did the breaking of the relationship, is you go with grace and gratitude. Don't make a bad situation worse by being petty and talking about them and throwing them under the bus and blaming them. If they're blaming you, take it. Just take it. Who cares? What difference does it make? Be the villain in their story if they need you to be the villain in this story.
Yeah. And then drop the drama around it.
Yeah.
And also don't make that situation, the friendship breakup, the whatever, your false idol. Do not make it your obsession, your every waking thought. Like, let it go. Like, just take a deep exhale and like, just let it go.
Because if you don't, you're going to keep yourself stuck in this loop of loneliness because nobody wants to be around that girl.
Yes.
Nobody wants to be around the bitter person who can't let it go.
Yes. And in fact, everything's working in your favor. What if that friendship being removed from your life was the biggest gift. You needed that for this future friend that's going to be a lifelong friend, or you needed them to remove because you were going down a bad path that you were not meant to go down. That was a hedge of protection around you. It was all a gift.
I mean, that time you spent with them, even if you did the breakup, let's say you did the breaking up, and it wasn't because they were talking about you. It
Right.
wasn't because they did something. It was because you became a new version of yourself that was no longer aligned with that
Yes.
relationship
Love,
anymore.
love.
You can look back on those times and you can go, oh, that was the friend I partied with, or that was the friend that I overspent with, or that was the friend that I made these choices I wish I wouldn't have made, that this version of me wouldn't make. Okay, no, that's not the thought. The thought is, I had a lot of fun with that friend. That was the friend I needed at that point in time
Yeah.
in my life.
I love it.
It's not their fault you made the choices you made that you wish maybe you wouldn't have made.
Sure.
You are completely responsible for yourself and the choices you make, and you chose to bring that person along with you. And I bet when you look back, there were a lot of good moments in there, a
Yeah.
lot of love. And lean into that. Don't lean into what it cost you or maybe
Yes.
the ugly little bit that happened at the end.
Right.
Just be graceful. And if they don't want to choose the high road, that's their choice and that's going to show their integrity, but walk away with integrity.
Right. And your journeys are allowed to separate, like reason, season, or lifetime, like we talk about. And that friend might have just been there for a season or a reason, like you taught them something, they taught you something, like nothing's gone wrong. That is not the last human in the world. I was actually just talking to my sister in law about this. They moved to Colorado, I don't even know, maybe 10 years ago. But she said, she works at a college and she had said how when she moved there, she has a lot of good friends from different parts of her life. And she said, I wondered if I'd meet more best friends, more really good friends. And she has at work or on a professional level, or some of her students, she's at this college. So some of her students, when they graduate, they're able to be friends then. And she's like, I have met these really cool, true blue friends. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not this finite amount, like you get 25 besties. No, it can just keep growing. And it's such an exciting thought to think about because there's such potential. And after the friendship breakup, who will come in my life next, or whose life will I be able to touch next?
And you know what always blows my mind is when you think there are people out there breathing air, walking around in this world I haven't met yet that I will love someday. And I don't even know them yet.
I love that thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how do I know? Because there have been so many examples.
Yes.
You're one of them. I
Yes.
didn't know you,
Yeah.
A little over a year ago.
True.
And you're a walking, breathing human in my life that I love today.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know you existed on this planet.
Isn't that wild? That's a wild thought.
Yeah. It's a thought that every now and then when I think it, I'm like,
It's exciting.
who are they? Where are they?
Yes. Where are my people? I love that.
But if I stay in my house, I'll never meet them.
True. True. If you're just scrolling, you'll never
If I'm
meet 'em.
just scrolling, if I'm just watching everybody else out with their people they love,
Right.
I'm not going to find the ones that
That
are
you
out there
love.
waiting for me to love.
Yes, so true. When my parents got divorced and my mom moved to California, that summer my mom prayed for like God to send me a really good friend to help through the process. And at the same time, my friend Lindsay, like she had a little frenemy breakup situation, and her mom had been praying for her to find a friend. And her mom would
Aw.
write these letters every year on her birthday with like prayers for the year to come for Lindsay. And that summer we met, and it was just instantaneous besties. And I just had dinner with her last week, and I still just love her so much. But I think also if you're struggling with a friendship breakup, that would be a beautiful practice, like journal or pray, or if someone you love, like a child or even a parent, you could pray for them, like put someone in their path. That would be really wonderful.
You bring up a really good point just around prayer or intentional energy is when you have a friendship breakup, so hard. It is hard. It is so hard to grieve someone who's still walking around in the world. And we try to like bypass the grief and go straight to the healing. But literally, if that person would have died, you would have grieved them for weeks. You would have
Mm.
thought of them. You didn't have the breakup, but they died before the breakup when you were still friends. You would have grieved them. You would have gone to a
Mm.
funeral. You would have said goodbye. You would
Mhm.
have let yourself feel that pain of that loss. But then if we have a friendship breakup, we think we're not supposed to do that. We're just supposed to move on and be
Right.
over it. And they're still walking around in the world.
True.
That is something we don't talk about enough. Grieve it. I've had a couple of painful friendship breakups. Like,
Mhm.
I still have dreams about them. Like,
Wow.
literally, one of them
Wow.
came to me in a dream 2 nights ago. And it
Like the person came to you in the dream. Wow.
was in a dream.
Can we dive into that dream for a minute?
Yeah, I mean, it was the craziest dream. It, like, made no sense because none of
okay.
even, like, what led up to it was reality.
Okay.
But I found myself in this person's home.
Okay.
And they were supposedly not there, and they walked in,
Wow.
and I was like, "Oh god, I don't know how this is gonna go," and they walked right up to me and
Oh.
hugged me and were like, "I've
Oh.
missed you so much. How are you?" And there was so much
Wow.
grace there.
Wow. Are you going to mend that situation?
No, because here's
Okay.
my second point to this, and this is what's happened in this other friendship that was a much longer ride or die. I thought it was forever friendship. And sadly, it suffered a friendship breakup. In both situations, there was love and fondness to see them. In both situations, my brain said to me in the dream, the person in the dream, do not go back.
Wow.
Both
Wow.
times. Each time they've come to a dream, do
That's
not go back.
crazy.
Do not follow the temptation to go back.
That's crazy.
So I think that I actually have these dreams when I'm feeling in a weak moment.
It wasn't like a sign.
Yeah, because you know
Okay.
what? The thing is it takes a long time to make an old friend.
True.
And when you lose an old friend, you lose all of that history that goes into that.
And then there's some like nostalgia.
Yes, and you
brain,
start
like, oh, I should keep with this, even if it's a terrible friendship.
even if it's no longer healthy for you, and you think, "Oh," but the pain of it not being healthy after time, that wears off, and then you get that temptation to go
Mhm.
back,
Mm.
and you think you can make it what it once was, and you
Yeah.
forget why it fell apart to begin with.
Right.
And so I think for me, those dreams happen whenever
Yeah.
I'm in those lower moments of nostalgia, of
Yeah.
missing that connection with somebody who knew me when I was a girl or knew me when I was this younger version of me
Yes.
that the friends I have now don't.
Right. And in that same vein, like in a different episode, we talked about like how sometimes just because something feels familiar doesn't mean it's a healthy choice. It's
Yeah.
just familiar. And so I think that makes sense for like going back to an old friendship that wasn't very healthy or isn't where you are anymore. And similarly, if you find a new friend that has that same unhealthy behavior, like let's say they're like always cutting you down and trying to be funny. That's just an example. Then it will make you real, like you might like it at first because it feels familiar, even though it's not aligning with who you are or where you are anymore.
Yeah, I agree. Our nervous system wants what it knows.
Yes.
And so we get tempted to go back to that because what happens in a new friendship? In a new friendship, we're on uneasy. You don't know my parents. You don't know my children. You don't know my
Mhm.
spouse. You don't know my story. You
That's
don't
right.
know me.
You don't know me.
You don't know me. But I want you to, and it's going to take a long time before you know all these things about me, right? It's going to take a long time for us to have that history. And so then you want to go back to the people that already have that history, even though it's a little sticky sometimes.
I also think like, I mean, my two besties from high school, I love them so much. And we don't get to talk every week or every month, and everybody's really busy. But I love that I don't have to over explain situations because they know my core personality because we've been friends for so
Yeah.
long. Whereas if it's a new person like telling a story, I'm like, well, this, that, this. And I've even been in a situation where I'm telling these two friends a story and they're like, we know, Marcy, we know.
We've heard it a million times. My God, shut up.
So, but I just think they know my personality and I love them for that.
On the flip side of that is they do know all these things about you. And you say it all the time. Jesus wasn't a prophet in his hometown.
True.
So as you're reinventing yourself, as you are becoming this better version of yourself,
Yes.
sometimes those people keep pulling you back down
Interesting.
because they know those, like, oh, so you're so enlightened now. So you're so this now because
Interesting.
maybe you're moving down that path And they chose not to go that same direction with you. And they're a little threatened by this change, by this new version of you. So they want to keep reminding you of who you were. And those are things you're trying to shed. That's
Mhm.
who you were in the past. That's not who you are in your future. And they don't want to let you move there because they aren't moving there with you and they feel left behind. And sometimes they
Mm.
are. And that's just the reality of it.
Yes, I don't feel that way about my high school friends,
Yeah, no, I'm not
but
saying
yeah.
that. But I'm saying on the flip side,
Yes, and
that's the benefit
yeah,
of that. But there's also the flip side of that.
totally, and I do think you're right. I think sometimes we outgrow a friendship, which can lead to a friendship breakup, and that can be from a big life change, like cutting back drinking or going
Losing
out less
175
or
pounds.
yes, exactly, and then you're no longer, like, in that same alignment, and they might be uncomfortable by growth and change because it's making them hold up a mirror.
You are always a mirror. I think that's what it comes down to. Circling back to the beginning of this, when we were saying it's not about you. Most of the time, this isn't about you. It's what you are representing to them about themselves.
Interesting.
And then they get uncomfortable.
Sure.
And somebody has to be the villain in that story, and it certainly isn't going to be them. So then you, who held up the mirror, become the
Mhm.
villain. And you didn't even know you were doing it. You were just simply living your life and moving along and doing all the things you thought you needed to do to be the
Right.
best version of yourself.
Right.
And you're not responsible for another person and whether or not they're choosing to take that path with you. And not saying even the fact that they aren't taking that path with you means they're staying stuck. It just means you're on a different path.
Yes.
You chose to go this way through the woods and they chose to go that way.
Yes. Totally.
That's
Totally.
all it is. But something in you making that different choice triggered something in the choice they made. And so all of a sudden it becomes about you when really it isn't about you.
Right. On this same topic, and I just want to talk about this as like a way to cope with a friendship breakup. Let's say you have a friendship breakup and you're like really struggling. Maybe it was a dramatic one. And like they kind of pop in your head and like, oh my gosh, why did I say that? Or why did they say that? Or, like thank your brain, like, thank you, brain. I'll think about this on Tuesday at 2 p.m. for 1 hour. Put it in that box in your head with the lid and the lock and just put it in there and then move on with your day. And throughout the week, anytime that pops in your mind, thank you, brain, I got it. Put it in the box, lock it, move on. And then on Sunday at 2 p.m. or whatever day and time, if you want, you can get it out and really think on it for 1 hour. But a lot of times when you get to Sunday at 2 o'clock, you won't even care. You're like, actually, it didn't bother me. Your brain needs you to acknowledge that this thing that could be dangerous, even though it's not really dangerous, it needs you to acknowledge it exists. If
Hmm.
you're just trying to shove it down and ignore it, ignore it, ignore it, and pretend it doesn't exist, it's like taking that beach ball and shoving it under the water and it's going to erupt. So you're much better off to acknowledge it. Thank you for this thing we're worrying about. We'll deal with it later.
Yeah. And on the coping with it scale, another really great way to let go is when they come up and you're worried about it and you're thinking about it, just say a little prayer for them.
Oh, I love that.
Send
Yeah.
them love.
Yes.
Send them gratitude. Thank you for everything you represented for me. Thank you.
That is so true.
Yeah, and if you're a spiritual girly and you're sensitive to energy, the one breakup, the more recent breakup I had that I just dreamt about, for the longest time, her energy kept trying to attach to me. I could feel it. And I
Wow.
kept having to say,
Wow.
"No, take it back. No, I will not accept it. I'm
Yeah.
sending it back to you with love. I'm sending it back to you with love." And I had so many things, gifts over the years, all of these reminders, and I removed them from my home. I couldn't, I was grieving so heavily. I couldn't look at
Wow.
that and think of them. I couldn't have that daily reminder. Every time I sat at my
Wow.
desk, here's, the mug they gave me, or here's the cute pen they gave me, or the frame with us together. Like literally just had to get rid of those things. And I journaled. I wrote a gratitude letter. Thank you for everything you represented for me in my life. I appreciate you. I
Aw,
love you. I'm letting you go.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a really healthy practice.
Yeah. So
I
I
love
just
that.
went through a physical practice of saying goodbye
Oh, I love that.
because I didn't get a funeral.
Right. And it's allowed to be just personal like that. Just you. You don't have to like send a letter
It
to
didn't have to go to them. It never went to them. I actually burned it. I had a little burning ceremony, around a moon. I'm a girly, like I'm a spiritual girly. Don't judge. But, you don't have to do it that way. You don't have to all of a sudden become a spiritual girly and do that, but write the letter and never send it.
Right.
You
It'll give you
know?
closure.
Just get the closure you didn't get.
Yeah. Now, on the flip side of this coin, if you feel like you are having a ton of friendship breakups or struggling to like make a friend and keep a friend, and we'll talk about making friends in the next episode, but you might need to look in the mirror. It might be time to be like, what am I doing or not doing? I'm going to tell this story with no names. I don't think this person listens to the podcast for sure. But a close friend of mine just had a close friend of hers have like a friendship breakup over the most.
So this was like my sister's boyfriend's cousin's mother.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
That's who it
very
was,
legit.
actually.
I think
That's
these.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah, Darlene.
Darlene. It's always a Darlene.
But it was like over the most ridiculous thing. This person had taken a position and not told the other person that she decided to accept the position. And that made that girl so mad that she had not told her that. And we were like, oh, this reaction's really not a normal
Right.
reaction. And I know this Darlene, I know her. She had told me again and again how she had struggled with friendships. And I thought, yeah, no wonder you're getting worked up if someone takes a career move and doesn't like formally call and be like, Darlene, I took the career move. Like,
Just so you
no.
don't see it on Facebook before I talk to you.
Yes. It's like, girl, we are like packing lunches, making dinners, going to work, doing I mean, no one has time. So anyways.
Which again goes back to everything is not about you.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And this Darlene made it up, but that's not her real name, obviously. We're HIPAA.
We're protecting
We
the
are
innocent
HIPAA
here.
That's
HIPAA.
right. So I just feel like it's such an important, like, be onto yourself. If you're like, why am I struggling with friends? Well, are you making it all about you? Are you being a selfish friend?
I think this is such a good point because there's a couple of reasons, I think, why this behavior happens. And, so is it, in my case, I've suffered some friendship losses recently. And I am onto myself. What are these patterns that I am doing that is creating this rinse and repeat, right?
Are we allowed to ask what the patterns are?
Yeah, no,
Let's get
I'll
real.
share.
Do you want to change your name to
we're all
Darlene?
girls here. Yeah, I don't want to be Darlene or Suzanne. I'm just gonna be Peggy. Like, you guys can use me as your fictional character for now on.
I love it.
Don't be a Peggy. So really, don't be a Peggy, because here's what I would do. I wasn't comfortable in my authenticity because of, my sad little story.
What was your authenticity?
Being very blunt, being very bold, taking up space, being pretty, being honest, being direct. I was a chameleon. What you needed me to be, I would be, and I was good at it. I wasn't just good at it, I was great at it.
Yes.
And it was a superpower in some ways. Like, I was great at sales. I was great at all these things because I could adapt and pivot and, I could change my colors as I needed to.
Sure.
What did that do? That brought in all these people into my life that liked my orange color or liked my green color, but they didn't like my red. So when I finally showed them my red, they're like, I didn't become friends with you because you're red. I became friends with you because you're yellow or you're green or you're orange.
Interesting. Okay.
And so I changed the rules. It wasn't them.
Yes.
It was me.
Yeah.
Because once I found my authenticity and once I said, I am not willing to keep playing this game.
Sure.
I'm not willing to keep dulling my shine to make everybody else comfortable around me.
Right.
All the people had been attracted to me because I was orange, got burnt out by my red. It was too bright. It was too much because I attracted the wrong people to me.
Gotcha.
But once I started to stand in my red, everybody who also loved red came to me, and I didn't have to do that anymore.
Oh, that's good.
I didn't have to do that anymore. But I was the common denominator. And I basically did a switch and bait. I was a people pleaser. I was a chameleon. I was everything everybody wanted me to be for years. And then I wasn't willing to do that for 50 more years.
Yeah.
And I changed the rules. And when I changed the rules, people either said, yeah, I'll play by those new rules. I actually like these new rules. And other people said, no, I'm sorry. That's not the game I signed up to play. I'm out.
Gotcha.
So I think that happens a lot. I think we people please, thinking it's how we're keeping ourselves safe because we don't feel comfortable being who we are because of whatever sad little story made us believe that when we were probably 13.
Right.
And now, once we start to say, oh, wait a minute, I'm so tired of everything being all about you all the time. I actually have needs too. And everybody's like, no, we're serving my needs. That's how this relationship works. I don't
Yeah.
want to play that game.
Yeah, I get that. I think also when we're struggling to like connect, it doesn't have to be a friendship breakup. Maybe it's just a friendship mismatch. Like you have met someone and you thought maybe you'd be friends and you're not friends. Don't get discouraged and don't think you need to change or rewire yourself or present differently. Just keep going, leaning into your most authentic self. Like years ago, I had this scavenger hunt party for adults only, and I'm really into theme parties, of course. And so everyone had to come dressed up.
Of course.
And then it all ended at like a cool bar not too far from our house. And I made everyone like pull numbers out of a hat, and that was your team. There was drivers and on and on. And obviously, I played the Mission Impossible theme song to start it off.
Obviously.
So fun. At that party, some people got really into it, the theme, and they came back to our house. We had like kitchen dance party and food. And then some people were on the peripheral and like watching the kitchen dance party, but not like participating, or maybe they didn't dress in theme as much. And it was through this big gathering that I met like my tribe. I was like, here you are, here you are. And I just love that. And it made me like love all these people that like took the time to put the theme together, took the time to get into it. And I was like, this is awesome. But those are my people. And if I had only like hung out with like a smaller crowd that was not into it, and then I tried to get smaller and not have theme parties or not get creative.
It made yourself feel wrong for wanting the theme party because the majority of the people in your tribe don't do that. So it's like, why is that weird that I want that? Should I not want that?
Right. So if it's a mismatch, don't stop being you. Just keep going, because there's someone out there that's going to love you and think you're so fun and so cool and want to play all the reindeer games you want to play. So just keep going in your authentic energy.
And I think there's a lot of value in that lesson.
Yes. And it's just a classic. Like no one person is going to be your everything.
Right. And we all think we're supposed to have that.
Friendships, children, all that. I mean, you can just think of different needs in life. Like my husband and I have talked about this, like, if we had a social adult outing for career, which kid would you bring? This one. If we needed someone to help us like heavy lift furniture in the house, we'd ask this one or whatever. And it's the same thing with friendship.
Right. But we're not conditioned for that. We are conditioned to think we should have one best friend for life, one BFF for life, right? BFF in and of itself, best friend forever. And we're taught that when we are in our most impressionable ages. So we think it's a moral failing when we don't have that BFF. Or we, don't have the love you like a sis friend. I mean, although we probably have a lot of those. And we think there's something wrong with that. But I don't think that we are. It's just like soulmate. What is, like, we're not meant to have one person that is our everything. We are our everything, right? We are our everything. Us, ourselves. Everybody else is just in our lives to enhance it and for us to enhance theirs and for us to feel connected and loved and held and seen.
Yeah, they're just icing on the cake.
Yeah, they're the icing on the cake that is our lives. Yeah, guys, don't beat yourself up. Don't beat the other person up.
Right.
Go in grace, go in love, go in gratitude.
Yes.
And you've got this.
That's right. You've got this.
All right, that's our shift for today.
Go live, laugh, and do one bold thing before the next episode drops.
Follow us at No More Bullshift and keep the conversation going.
Because if you can't laugh about it,
you probably still need to shift it.